thank you for taking the time out to join us in our monthly dust up here. A regular downtown development, Rochester downtown development meeting for Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. Madam Recording Secretary, the roll, please.
And just in case you've forgotten, now with Zoom meetings, you have to state that you're present and state your location.
Oh,
so just Rochester, Michigan, or Knoxville, Tennessee, or wherever you are.
Got it. All right, very good.
Okay. Chairman Giovanelli.
Present, Rochester, Michigan.
Mayor Bixson, Marilyn Trent, Paul Haig.
Present, Rochester, Michigan.
Bob Bloomingdale.
Present, Rochester Hills, Michigan.
Tony LaPuma.
Present, Oakland Township.
Lisa Germani Williams, Chris Johnson, Eric Diana.
Present, Rochester, Michigan.
Tanya Karsten.
Present, Rochester Hills, Michigan.
There is a quorum.
Fantastic. All right. Good evening. Thank you once again. We'll try and get through this as quickly and be efficient and respectful of your time as possible. Just for those that don't know, I think everybody probably does know, but we had a 6:30. Our annual required meeting with the state was at 6:30. We did not have a quorum. So at the very end of this meeting in miscellaneous, I'll bring it back up and we'll pick another date and time. My take was, take it at the end of the next meeting, but we can talk about that later. So we'll just keep moving forward. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Is there any questions or debate about the minutes, or do we have a motion for approval in our future?
I'll make a motion for approval.
Okay, motion by Haig. Is there support for that motion?
I'll support it.
Support by LaPuma. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It's be a roll call.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. They changed all the rules on us. Sorry. Yes. Please. Do you have to state where we're at again, or are you good?
No.
Okay, good.
No. Eric
I'll change
Diana.
it every time. If you did that, I would change it every time just to mess with you. So. Okay, go. Sorry.
Eric Diana.
Aye.
Bob Bloomingdale.
Yes.
Paul Haig.
Yes.
Tanya Karsten.
Yes.
Tony LaPuma.
Yes.
Chairman Giovanelli.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Oh, fantastic. Audience comments. It's just us. So I don't know if there's any mail-in correspondence. I think we would have been made aware of that. So I see shaking their head. So we shall move forward. Liaison reports. Ms. Peterson.
Thank you. Somehow I'm having an issue with video. It won't work. So I'll have to check with the city tomorrow on the computer.
Okay.
So January 11th meeting, we had a request from and approved for the Rochester Hills Public Library, a resolution approving a charitable game license for them so they can do some sort of program for to collect extra money for the money they're losing. They're going to do like an auction type thing, I believe, or some type of non-charitable event to do so. So we did approve that. And then we also approved the master plan steering committee as presented. And there were, I know a lot of you were on that meeting and part of that, and a lot of people in the community are, so that should be very good. Get a lot of good feedback out of that, and those dates will be forthcoming. We also set a public hearing for February 8th for the new Riverfront Place special project. So that'll be coming up on the agenda in case, which will affect downtown area. So in case anyone has interest, February 8th will be the public hearing. And then we also had to approve some things for the police station, police department, a couple new cars that were already part of the budget, and now body worn cameras and the supporting equipment that's needed for them to do their job. So other than that, that was about it. We did go into closed session afterwards regarding the for city manager review.
That time of the year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Any questions for our council member Peterson? Seeing none, thank you for the informative update as usual. We appreciate it. Chamber of Commerce, Maryland is not here, so I don't know if anybody can speak in her stead. I don't think so, unless Madam Director, you have any intel that none of us have.
I do not, but Tanya, are you on the chamber board these days?
I am an ambassador. I'm
Oh,
not.
yeah. All right.
Okay, so we'll punt. Just so everybody knows, Marilyn is not with us tonight because her mother and her stepfather both have COVID, and she is dealing with them. Taking care of them. They're in the protected class, as it were. So we extend our thoughts and prayers to her and her family as they deal with that. Okay, moving on. Don Sinkowitz, historical.
Yes, the Historical Society is preparing the comic books, or not comic books, excuse me, coloring books and storybooks for our distribution during Founders Day. We're going to get a count of how many second graders there are. And again, this is all preliminary. We're assuming that everybody will be back in school by that time. We're also looking into creating a PDF file so we can also communicate the coloring books electronically. And it's I'm really saddened to hear about Maryland and mom or stepdad, because I need to talk to her. I wanted to talk to her, or at least notify her that I'll be coming to her to seek some guidance in updating these coloring books, and hopefully that she can point me in the right direction or the right person that I could communicate with to get these coloring books updated. The coloring books haven't been updated since 2012. And we know that the second graders are probably far advanced than most of us are as far as what's going on, the words that are in these coloring books, and just the pictures. So that's where we are with that. And that's about it for now.
Thank you. Yeah, and I agree that it changes they're growing up so fast that I can't even keep up, and it's bananas. I would suggest Marilyn is probably the most approachable person on the planet. So if you have her email, feel free to reach out to her. If not, I'm sure Christy can coordinate that for you.
Yeah, I'll probably do that. I'll probably wait till the end of the week and then send her an email. I also have her email address because it's on this distribution list. So
got it.
Thanks.
She's the right person as far as I know, because the last person you want to have help with any kind of art is the accountants. So I will. If you need some help, I'm happy to do it, but the work product might not be as up to snuff as what you guys are looking for. So thank you for that, Don. Appreciate it. Principal Shopping District, Madam Director.
So leading into 6A, Candace, as you know, is no longer on the DDA board, so she can no longer be our liaison to PSD. So I'm filling in. As we reported out at last week's Goals and Objectives meeting, PSD had their goals and objectives the day before that. We covered quite a bit already of what they're doing, but I want to highlight some of the more immediate things. February 1st, Deck Art registration starts. We are moving Deck Art back to May as it typically is. This last year we hosted it in September for obvious reasons. So that's February 1st. We have already over 450 decks that were delivered to South Street last week.
Yeah, I saw those. Yeah, that looked awesome.
Yeah. So there's that. We are working based on input we received from DDA last week and PSD on Tuesday, putting together sort of a Love Local Rochester month for the month of February with some special things for the restaurants as well as some of the retailers and other businesses as well. So we're putting the meat on the bone on that one. And then we've already started reaching out to vendors for Open Day of Farmers Market, which is scheduled for May 1st. So
can't come quick enough as far as
exactly. And no matter what the restrictions are, we know how to run a farmer's market in a COVID environment. So come rain, shine, locusts, whatever, we're opening on May 1st. So.
Shush. We don't need to be encouraging. Don't need to be encouraging. Don't put that out there. It's everything else is materialized this year. That would not surprise me.
But honestly, we'd all be like, oh, locusts, cool. Yeah.
What is that all you got? Bring it, right? Yeah, no, we can handle it. We're trained professionals, right? So that's awesome. All right, good deal. Thanks a bunch. So getting to the general business agenda, tailing into that. So 6A, Candace did resign. Her and her husband bought a house in Bloomfield Hills, and so she's no longer a resident and accordingly can no longer serve on the board. So that seat is now open. There was some interest. If anybody on the board, especially our liaisons, wants to resubmit, I would suggest do that. Get it to the mayor or get it in. And if anybody else knows of anybody else, this is a resident seat, if memory serves, or it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. So it can be anybody. So I know we have to have a certain number of seats for residents and a certain number for property owners, but I think this one's kind of a, for lack of a better term, an ad hoc seat. So stay tuned. News 11. That's once again, that's a mayoral appointment. We really have no say in it whatsoever, other than just friendly suggestions and having those things go through the mayor's office. So there's that. New PSD liaison. So with Candace leaving us, as Christy said, she had to sit in the last PSD meeting. Since then, Paul has offered up his expertise in such services. So I will gladly accept that unless anybody else has a burning desire to become the PSD liaison. And if that's the case, you and Paul will have to don the sumo suits and duke it out. But I can't. I got the agenda over a couple of you. Oh, there we go. So does anybody else have any interest in the PSD liaison? Okay, so seeing none, hearing none, see no evil, hear no evil. Be careful what you ask for, Paul. You just may get it. So thank you for your offering to serve. We appreciate it. I don't know if there's any kind of official action other than us just nodding our head, and I think that's pretty much it. Okay, good. All right, perfect.
Paul, our first meeting for you will be Tuesday, February 9th at 5:30.
Okay.
Awesome, thanks. So we're 6C, City Council Outdoor Dining Platforms, Nick Banda.
So, hi, everybody. I talked to Christy today and felt the best way to handle this was just straight numbers. So I talked to the police chief. So it's pretty simple math. From about May 1st, when normally outdoor dining takes place. So anytime between when we start using if we go to City Council, ask them, and we would come up with a monetary figure for each parking space. So between May 1st, say we put the platforms out, and June 30th, parking is $1 an hour. So it's pretty simple math. How many spaces we use, 12 hours a day, because they're potentially used that much. And then not on Sundays, we can take out holidays, etc. And then starting July 1st, it looks like it's going to be $1.25 an hour. So from July 1st until the end of October, when we usually pull them, we would figure that out. That's $15 a day per space versus 12. So straight math, I think, Christy, we came up with around $30,000, a little bit over 30,000.
Yep. So we assumed that it would be the same number of platforms and spaces used from last year. So using those numbers, that's 14 total spaces. So that worked out to, like Nick said, omitting Sundays and holidays and taking into account the increase from $1 to $1.25, we're looking at $30,408.
Okay, so
again, that's where we would start with, go to City Council, say, in my report, I would say this would be a straight up dollar for, hour, $1.25 for hour. And they can make that decision if they want to drop that, whatever they want to do. So, I mean, that's the worst case scenario if they have.
All right. So from us, do you need a motion to request that before council, or is it just running up the flagpole and
motion
see?
Would be a good idea.
I think a motion, because I think it should be a two-part motion as well. It should be that we're requesting for the outdoor dining platform permission to place those again, and then to use the parking spaces. And since now we have to pay, that would be. Yeah.
Right. And then to that, I would add probably two things. We may expand them depending on the ask. So to the extent that that they give us a per space, I think you've already got that number, but a per space dollar amount. And then because we're such great customers, the frequent flyer discount. So to the extent the city is feeling, especially loving and wants to contribute towards our effort, any monies that we don't spend on that can go towards, other COVID type response for year two of this. So I cannot make motions as the chair. So if anybody has, I guess so. Two motions. The first one is the request for it, and then the funding part, right, Christy?
You could probably lump them into one, since it's really the same request that'll be going to council. It'll go as one item. So wouldn't that be right, Nick? One item?
Yes. Yep. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So to support our downtown restaurants, number one, I will put in a request for the spaces, and number two, for the amount of in the range of $30,000. That sounds succinct enough.
Yep. And then, like I said, just noting that we may expand that or contract it actually, depending on how many requests we have.
Well, if you want to,
actually, hopefully we'll
you could
expand
say, in your own motion, you could say, we would kindly we feel strongly that it's discounted a number. I mean, if you want to say that right in the motion, you can.
Well, then I'll amend the motion to say that we feel strongly that this will help downtown businesses.
And we would appreciate any kind,
Break
like I
on
said,
that.
right, whatever. And then council can debate it. And but I think between you and Ann, you guys can kind of convey our thoughts as to the intent behind our request. And it's actually pretty obvious. So we have a motion by Haig. Is there support for this motion?
Aye.
Support by Eric, Diana, support. Roll call vote again. I'm sorry, discussion on the motion. Anybody? Doesn't appear to be. Roll call vote, Madam Recording Secretary.
Tony LaPuma,
Yes.
Tanya Karsten,
Yes.
Paul Haig,
Yes.
Bob Bloomingdale,
Yes.
Eric Diana,
Yes.
Chairman Giovanelli.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Very
We will
good.
get that
Thank
to
you.
council as soon as possible here.
Okay, cool. And then to the extent there's any, questions, just bring them back. And if we have to, we've got plenty of time. I don't think there's any action needed between now and the next meeting. All right, cool. Thank you for that. Economic development update, Mr. Nick, it is your floor again.
Thank you. And Bob, I'm sorry you have to hear this again. I'll try to keep it a little more succinct than the first time today.
I enjoy every minute of it, Nick.
Yeah, I'm sure. So it's all good news, folks. You should be very proud of the effort that you all, Christie's team, the city, everybody's done to weather this first shot across the bow here in a long time. So I'm going to, I know Councilwoman Peterson brought up, she walks a lot downtown, et cetera. She was very observant that, hey, it looks like there's a lot of, stuff going on, dark windows, et cetera. So that was a good inspiration to kind of put the list together to let you know where we're at. So here's some great news. So I'm going to go right down the list. We'll start with these are all vacant buildings that are now filled. And these are either filled by leases already or they're actually doing the work and they're about to open. Three Dog Bakery is going to be Le Macaron from Bradenton and Sarasota, Florida. Gentleman from GM retired and bought a franchise. He literally has to be in that building for 3 years working as the lead staff. What they do is they don't bake anything on site. It's brought in from Florida, deep freeze, frozen. Yet that's the way that product is made to be delivered. They prepare them here. It's an unbelievably beautiful spread on the inside of the building. Coffee, stuff like that. It's a place to hang out. Another great place for people to work and work from home while they're eating a macaron and having coffee and good stuff. So very excited about that. He's got his building permits and it should not be a very long build out. We'd be reticent to not tell you that the DDA now is a permanent member in the former James and Olive site. And that space is now leased, obviously, with you guys' blessing, and that's great. I've been working with Jim Holland, who still owns the Viviano building with Viviano Flowers, and we're trying to backfill his space with an office user that they have their second meeting, and hopefully that's going to work out, which would be no net loss in a space there. Dr. Atala at 134 University, if you see little dozers busted around there, they're busting up the parking lot, etc. He's converting the upper floor above Recipes and then the lower floor below it to 26 apartments, 1, 2, 3 bedroom. Pretty affordable, but really nice daylight windows, all that good stuff. Great support for Recipes and for the other person that's there. And they're making very good headway there and working away on the inside now. So that building was pretty much vacant, even though it was Doc's building and he used it for things. Now it's going to be very lively, and that's more boots on the ground, being able to walk, not even a block, right to the core of downtown. That's exciting. You've probably seen the advancement finally of Tide Cleaners. They're wrapping up their project. Edison finally moved the pole so they can finish the brickwork, and the parking lot's done. Now they're doing the internal. It's a drop-off cleaners, and then their corporate offices are upstairs. On Pine and University, just down the street as you come into the police department, on the left-hand side, across from Dr. Tala's building there, across the street, is 3 condos all sold, the upper 3 levels, and then the 2 condos in the first floor will be taken by Wolverine Construction, which is people that own the property. They decided to move their headquarters there. So those 5 condominium units are spoken for and done. Landscaping's done. They got way ahead of the game in the late fall. Good weather, and and they'll be starting to occupy the units here early in the spring. That's exciting. Detroit Tarot Card, which was in the old Friendship Factory building, the old library. They have now Tarot, however you say that. They are now going to go solo. They're taking the old Simply the Best building, a couple down from Christie's folks, a spot, and they're going to have what they do, the carving and stuff in the back, and then some type of retail operation in the front. When they sign their lease, and just processing his sign permit. Really exciting one, a place called Lettuce, L-E-T-T-E. So yeah, I know, Tanya, that's good. I know we get a lot of that people when we say that. I think they're in Shelby. It's a really nice salad place and kind of like a deli. And they have, according to Taylor Clayton at the DDA, they have lines out the door all the time. They are taking the Detroit deli. The paper's already on the front windows. They're in there working. I talked to the owner and his wife. They're super excited to come to Rochester. A lot of their clients came from Rochester. So that's awesome anchor in that center. You've noticed the redoing of the building, the Gateway Center. They're going back to the days of the Yates Machine Building where they redid the old brick. They're putting a mansard on, all new signage. The day spa that's in there. It's quite a big operation. They expect 100 people in that site, in that building a day. All that can be, supporting Giorgio's and everybody on the south end of town there. And of course, the Pumas, they'll take their walking glove. Mike Jones Realty is going to he's getting his first office. He's going to take the olive and vinegar space that's been vacant for quite a bit, which is next to Bakehouse 46, I believe it's called, which is killing it. They're really doing well there, which is exciting also. And then Mike Blake Realty is taking the old Rush Antique spot, and he's in there working away. And Kevin Stewart said he was in there the other day, and it's just about done. He's doing quite a nice job. Medical spa on Walnut is open now in the old Lenore Dental building that never opened up. The old church that Armand and Lisa from the brunch house, they purchased that church. You can see they've got the outside cafe, etc., done. Now they're working on the inside. That should be open in late spring. It's a European coffee house and a speakeasy at night. There's cocktails and stuff like that, but that's going to be incredibly what they've done to the outside and the inside of that building. That's great. Shamrock Travel, former Mayor Dalton had one spot vacant in the middle. I found an office user for that, so she's full now. And I think that's it. So that's pretty amazing in tough times like this, that all these spots are getting refilled up. Oh, and the boutique on 4th Street, she just was able to work with the State Liquor License Control Commission to get I think Pat called it SDM license, where she can sell wine on the shelves, not serve it, but sell wine, much like olive and vinegar. Chateau wine. She's going to be able to do that now in her store, which helps drive people to her store. And I think that's about it. So that's pretty good news, I think.
So in summary, rolling into the summer, as we get into the summer, we should be near full capacity downtown?
Yeah, we've got, Christine and I were talking about, so we've got Scarborough Square, we've got Boutique Angelique, and then the Chemical Bank site. And then actually the Friendship Factory, that's a big one that they're trying to cut up. So that's our biggest ones that are vacant. There's a couple of offices here and there up top that have always been vacant, actually. And we're pushing 96% again. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, the Chemical Bank's gonna be tough. My observation just in general is office space is gonna be super hard to let, especially,
Agreed. It's funny though, I'm getting the 1,000s and 2,500. So if people are willing to cut up, it can work. Jim was willing to work with this guy to take the whole space when he really didn't want that much space. But we'll keep pushing it.
All right. Well, I promise that if I win the Mega Millions, I am going to buy the Chemical Bank building from from the Christmas family, and I'm going to put an Italian meat market in there in Delhi. So just so you guys know,
we'll be right there with you.
Right. Hanging meats from the wall. It's going to be great. People are just going to be totally appalled. PETA will be in there every day. That's going to be glorious.
Rocky. We can do a Rocky.
100%, Madam Director.
Support that, but also, Nick, did you want to talk about the proposal before Planning Commission down by the river?
Yeah, Councilwoman Peterson just mentioned that it's the Riverfront program, their proposal that you've seen, the signs on First Street. Some folks are against it, obviously, and it's 134 units, 2 phases, like 50 or 67 in each phase. A 4-story, 5-story building, setback off of the road, farther than the First Street lofts. It's market rate apartments. Then there's a first phase would be the first half of the building, second phase, second half, third phase, which will probably go when the first phase goes, are 17 townhomes down by the river, a big park area. They're part of their special project, give money to the next phase of the water all underneath the bridge. That's their give back as part of the special project. So, like Councilwoman Peterson said, it supports the downtown. There's going to be people out against it, so I'll leave it at that. But it's an economic driver when you put that many people. That could be 200 people that can walk to downtown. That's important. And then we have a couple other ones on the Planning Commission. Have 210 diversion that is 40 more units that are really nice, high end, right below the bridge. Oh, and I should say Tom DeLuzin at Chief Financial Credit Union. They got approved also by the Planning Commission. So that's projects now. They're doing the renovation. He expects to open up at the start. So that's we kind of move their headquarters in there in a community space. That's a nice addition to the U.S. Scuba has been kind of just sitting there, not so good for a while. So that also should be on my list.
Would it be helpful for the DDA to write a letter in, and I'll leave this to the board, I'm just kind of spitballing here, but with respect to the public hearing on the 8th for that space town, just in noting, the transition that it would change in the area, but sort of being respectful of the desires of the people down there, I get it, but also to, trying to shift gears and take an area that's been, nothing, right, and making it a net positive for the community. So I don't know if that would be helpful or not. I'm happy to entertain any discussion about that if anybody had any thoughts. And seeing none. Okay. So we'll just go there on the 8th and do what we can. Yes, Madam Director, please.
Just to be clear, just personally for me, we haven't had a lot of opportunity for new developers that are coming in so close to downtown that we could have this kind of benefit. So personally, for me, if there was a few board members that would be interested in championing writing a letter of support or something like that, I think it would go a long way, because what did you say, Nick? 200 residents, 200 new residents?
Yeah, there could be actually like 250 if there's 2 people per bedroom, if that's how it worked out.
And that'd be pretty nice to have right there, and we're walking distance, stone's throw. But again, I'm not a board member and I can't vote or make motions.
100%. Eric, please.
Mr. Chairman or Madam Chairwoman, would there be like a sample that maybe you could send out that would kind of hit the key talking points that we could, not like boilerplate, but we could drive the point home succinctly? Because
Nick, do you have a one-pager of the development that we could send around to the board so we could review it, and then as I think what I'm hearing, and Eric, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think this is exactly where you're headed, just to kind of get an idea what it is and the potential for the area. Just a one-pager, very simple. Don't need to look at the the entire plans and all that other stuff.
I'll see if I can. Yeah, I'm sure we can get something from so you can see the development, and then the actual. It's a development agreement. I think there's a executive overview from the developer that I can send through. Absolutely.
Yeah. So why don't we do that, Chrissy? If you could send that out to everybody on the board, or get it to me and the 2 of us, and we'll just write a note to everybody and say, hey, look, please review, and if you have some time, we'd love to your thoughts either way. I mean, in support of or not in support of. This is this is a democracy after all. But to send to council as they deliberate and listen to the public hearing, because the way the public hearings work is prior to the start of the public hearing, the first question that the mayor will ask the city clerk is, has there been any correspondence in this matter? And the first thing that she's going to do is say yes or no. And if there is yes, then all of the items that are presented to them will be read into the record. And so these letters of support or whatever are helpful. If I'm going to try to actually attend the meeting, I think Christy and I both could do that, I think, and sort of speak to it. But I will be writing a letter in support of it as the chairman and as a resident of the city of Rochester. I think it's that important. So yeah, send it around, and we'll, if you guys could, take a few minutes and just pen your thoughts down and send it into the city. We'll tell you where to send it and how to send it. It should be pretty easy. It's the same place you pay your water bill, right? So get it there, and then we'll go from there. So.
Hey, is that Tony Randazzo that's developing that still?
Yes, sir.
He usually does a great job, a nice job.
You can see one of his developments down by that Saucitas or whatever down Rochester Road.
Salsarita.
Yeah, he does a nice job, Tony. Great job.
Nick,
Yeah, he's done some really nice development.
Yeah,
And,
Nick's doing well tonight.
Chairman?
Yes, please. Sorry.
Sorry, Ben. Just wanted to talk about that too. I think it's a very wise idea that if you can spread the word to the businesses and everybody down there to get their feel for what that would bring to the community, because I think it's important, because the creation of that area down there could probably really change the dynamics of opening up that end of town for different developments that could actually really bring in more and more people, not just this here, but actual businesses too, and create the environment that we've been talking about for, I think, for the past 10 years, that we are this walkable community, and that would actually fall in sync. But I do feel, as a council person, I would really like to hear what the business owners alike have to say about that type of development coming in that could potentially bring more traffic or whatever, those same things that we hear all the time, but it would be good to hear. So thank you.
For sure. And then I think also too, Nick, if you could, or both Nick and Christy, the copy of the meeting minutes from the planning commission where that discussion, at least just the discussion part. Yep. So that way the board can get a sense of what the our cohorts on the planning commission, what their thoughts were with respect to that. It just would be helpful to paint, I think, a holistic picture of the potential there. So we'll get that out to you guys in short order.
Okay.
Deal?
Deal.
All right, good. All right, cool. Thank you. That's always good news. I'm, given all the poop sandwich we've had to deal with for the last year, good news is always welcome, Nick. So feel free to bring that. I know you and Christy endeavor to bring that every meeting, and we appreciate it, but we'll take way more than that, than the negative stuff.
Yeah.
Oakland County Restaurant Relief Program, Madam Director.
So I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard about this, seen it online, saw it on the news. This is a new program they rolled out at the end of last year. They rolled it out rather quickly, and they already did a phase 1 allocation, which we did apply for. They sent it out the week before Christmas, and so I hurried up and put in a response really quick to try and get a few things. Essentially, the goal of the program is to be able to provide items, and I included those in your packet, items to restaurants specifically to allow them to have outdoor operations. So that's igloos, greenhouses, heaters that can't be used inside the igloos or the greenhouses, just as a side note. And then electrostatic sprayers and propane refills to go along with the heaters. So we applied in the first round and were able to get a few items. They're actually working with Home Depot to secure many of the items. So it was really a supply and demand issue right before Christmas. So even though we requested more things than what we were allocated, there is a phase 2 that there's a call this Friday that I'll be on. They should be rolling that out very shortly for us to do that. In the meantime, I went ahead and sent out a survey and contacted all the restaurants that would be eligible. So basically, it's anybody that would have space on their property that they could put any of these items. We're working with 16 different restaurants downtown, whether they want the full gamut of everything, or they can only accommodate 1 or 2 things, or they just want heaters to enhance what they already have, perfectly fine. With Nick last week, we went over all the site plans to figure out who can fit what, and then put that together on a list. So hopefully, once phase 2 opens, we'll go ahead and apply for all of those things. And based on the ballpark allocation that they had given to Rochester, we should be able to obtain everything that's been requested by our restaurants downtown. In addition to that, I worked it out with the fire department. They will be housing our propane refill service over there. So basically, once a week, this propane company is going to be coming and taking empty tanks and putting full tanks in there, and then the restaurants can go down there and pull propane tanks. As of the last grant, we have 360 refills allocated to Rochester at a discounted rate through the grant, so that should at least keep the restaurants going for a little while. It's not a permanent program by any stretch of the imagination, but that's getting set up at the fire department for us on Friday. And then Home Depot is going to be delivering the few items from phase 1 to us. So we're going to storm in the parking structure until the businesses come to pick them up, and that will hopefully be scheduled in the next day or so we can get those down here, and then I'll keep you posted on the phase 2. But it's a good program. I think it's a great way to help some of the businesses that weren't financially able to put together some things for this, that it will help them in the long run. So we're excited, and I'll keep you posted, but yeah, we're on top of it.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's somehow appropriate that the propane is at the fire station. Although I was actually, well, I know, right? I was actually reading that there's a national shortage of propane because of, at least up in this area, because of all the outdoor dining. I know by my old office at Crooks and 59, I forget the name of the restaurant there, but they've got a 500-pound propane pig out back, and the only time I see those is out at the farm up north. So I was like, it's sort of shocking. So. Thank you for that. And then once again, this is all monies from the county and county paid for, so it's not coming out of our budget. So those are always appreciated, and I will vote yes on 100% of those each time they come up. So DDA Budget Subcommittee. Okay, so it's that time of the year again. I am on, of course, because of who I am and what I do for my day job too. So I didn't know if there's anybody else that had some time. It'll be Zoom like this. It'll probably be twice, maybe. Yeah. So we generally try and do it in the morning. We would do it like 7:30 to 9. We used to do it at my office, but obviously now we're not going to do that. So although I'd be happy to bring anybody over. You guys want to get out and do whatever, I'm happy to do that. But so I think last year it was me, Mark, and Marilyn.
Chris.
I can't remember. Oh, it was Chris. That's right. So anyway, so I'm looking for probably 2 people to kind of join in the fun and just sort of have input in the budget. If you've never worked with a DDA budget before, this may be a really great opportunity to kind of figure out how things actually work from a finance standpoint. So I would encourage, especially any new members, to get involved. But I open up to the floor. So probably 2 people. We can decide now, or you can shoot me a note. But I think when's our first? What's our first pass with Anthony?
He hasn't given us a date yet, but I think usually based on calendar, it's usually first week of February we try to meet.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we'll meet. Usually then we meet again probably end of February, because we have to have something all in package to, let me check my March calendar, to council and ready for review for public hearing on the 22nd of March.
22nd. Okay. 24th in my head. Okay. All right. So it's going to be 2 meetings in February, one in the beginning-ish, and one probably third week of February. It'll be an hour to hour and a half. We work with the city administration, and we just go through the budget line item by line item. So if you're a friend of Excel and those things excite you, this is your opportunity to shine. But like I said, it's a good opportunity to sort of learn how the finance part of it works. So I'll open up to the floor if anybody has any interest.
Chris had texted me earlier. He said if you need him, that he would serve again.
He's a little busy, so I
know. I'm just telling you, he offered.
That's great. Eric.
I would actually like to do that.
All right, awesome.
So I deal with a lot of finance, and yeah, I'm new, so I think you were hinting at something, so I'm gonna.
I was slightly hinting at you. Yep, 100%. Yeah, but like I said, I think it's a good opportunity so you can sort of get a feel for. How the city accounting works and just all the stuff. So for a lot of good reasons. So yeah, I was kind of trying to leave some crumbs in the forest. So I'm glad you followed them. So excellent. Do I have one other person that may be interested in joining our fun and frolics? Look, Tanya's like this, really slow. You're on mute. You're muted, Tanya. You're pulling a Marilyn on us.
Sorry, my kid was practicing his saxophone. So
oh, that's funny.
yeah. So anyway, I love getting serenaded. I don't know if you all do. So
Yeah, oh, of course. Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah, I would give it a try. It's not my forte, but maybe I need to learn. So
Perfect. All right, good call. So you guys have been voluntold. Nicely done. So we will, once we put the agenda together, our first meeting, I'll try and schedule that. I don't know, Christy, as soon as Anthony lets us know when he's ready, so we'll see. So probably, I don't have a calendar in front of me, but it's going to be probably the first week of February. So maybe in a couple weeks. So I'll reach out to you guys separately and kind of give you a heads up so you have as much notice as possible as to when, so we can check dates and make sure everybody's good with it. Deal? Excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All righty, Rue. And then let's see, you're talking about being voluntold for stuff. This one, I got a note from Nick that told me I was in. I'm like, okay. So this is our master plan committee. So this is a little bit bigger, broader, visionary position. So we've been asked to have, 2 members, Nick?
Yes, yourself
Okay, so
and one other. Or it can be 2, but we requested each chairman of each commission. But if they want to assign to somebody else, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, do I have to? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, it's going to be fine. So this is the master plan. So this is the annual, it's not even annual. It's like every 5 years. Yeah, so it's every 5 years we review the master plan. And this particular position would be working as part of this committee, if you will, to provide input as to the master plan for things that impact the Downtown Development Authority. So we would be working with council, the planning commission, and the city planner, Nick, and that's probably it, huh?
They have a list of 30 people, Ben.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so
it's a big
good committee.
All right, so it'll be a lot of listening and not a lot of talking, so which is great.
Yeah, and I would actually ask Nick, you should send that to Christy and Ben, so they have that to pass along to everyone, so they know who's sitting on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll do that. So when do you need to know by, Nick? Now?
I think the first meeting's in the beginning of February, so sooner the better.
Okay. All right. So this would be, I think, only meeting
3 or 4 times max
a year. A year. So this is very, very infrequent. But this would be also for somebody new or somebody that hasn't had the opportunity to interact with the other boards and commissions to see how the whole thing sort of globally works and how the other teams work together within the master plan. This may be a good opportunity to gain that exposure. Of course, I'm a big networker, so you're going to meet others on the other boards and commissions that, that are cohorts, brothers and sisters in arms. So it would be a good thing. And it's only, a couple of times a year, a few times a year. So it's not going to be a huge commitment. But it would be interesting to at least shine the light on how, the master plan process works. Being on council for 12 years, I've had plenty of it and I'm tired of it, but that's okay. I'm here and I'm going to do my job because I'm the chairman and that's what we do. But anybody else? Sure, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something since you were just talking about that. The most important part about this one, though, is because we have the new planners that are going to be doing the master plan. And they are really hands-on, and I think it's something that they really want the input to help guide us into really having a future-focused master plan. Okay, for like long-term planning. So I think that's in long-term goals of where we see our city and things like that. So I think all that it would be great to, whoever does participate long-term and keep that top of mind.
For sure, 100%. So with that, I think that's a fairly decent introduction. I don't know if anybody, I'm having a hard time seeing. I keep popping up the agenda as a PDF and it covers people up. So I apologize on that. Anybody have any?
Yeah, Chris is on it as a restaurant representative. So there's a few of those. So he was picked up for that. So he won't be representing the DDA. He'll be representing the restaurant industry.
Okay, got it. All right, don't everybody rush at once. So why don't we make this, send a note out to everybody on the board so that way Marilyn and everybody who's not on can take a run at it. And then
I did notice that Bob had unmuted for a moment. Bob, were you about to do something?
Yeah, I was about to say you can put me down as an alternate if you don't get anybody else.
Yeah, Yeah, that's how, be careful if that's how Tony became vice chair, right? So, yeah, right. No, so that's good. Noted. Thank you. So let's go ahead and send that note out, and then we'll try and get you guys another person in the next week or so. Does that
Okay.
work, Nick?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you. A lot of volunteering tonight. Sorry about that. What have I got here? Regular reports. Executive Director update, Madam Director.
Just a few things. One thing, Executive Committee wanted me to provide a brief update on what's been happening at the Collaboration Studio over the past few months. So the studio, what we've been doing the most of the last month or so was selling gift certificates. Many of you saw that program that we did, the Spend 50, Get 100, that started with our friends at Consumers Energy reaching out, and that we were able to be a part of their Our Towns program. Then the PSD put together their own version of it because it was so wildly popular. And then we thought we were done with it. Then all of a sudden, consumers came back again, as well as an anonymous donor who wanted to add a little bit more to the pot. And then our friends at Chief Financial stepped up to match some dollars too. So in all, from November 23rd until, there you go, until December 23rd, we sold over $100,000 in downtown gift certificates. And that's all coming right back to our merchants. So we're very excited about that. And I don't think we would have been able to accomplish that upstairs above the florist. Being on Main Street was really great. We did have a line at one point all the way down the block 2 of the 3 days that we did this.
Wow, that's awesome.
It was slightly terrifying, but it was fine. So there's that. And we are in the process tomorrow. I'm actually spending the whole day up at my old office, cleaning everything out. We're in process of starting to move all kinds of things wherever they belong. We're trying not to bring much down here, not much clutter, so that we can get our spaces going. And especially if Nick's trying to lease it quickly, but we have a few things that need to move, like, the big bright light show and the sound system and some other technical things that have to get here. So working on all that, and Anthony's helping us with that move as well for the Comcast and computers and all that good stuff. Oakland County, I gave you a lot of updates on that and more to come. We are starting a pilot program with them in February. It's going, the Oakland County, what used to be the one-stop shop has now been broken up. So all of those specialists have gone to different departments within the county. But so the specialist that got assigned to Maester Oakland County, Eric Phillips, is going to be here in studio once a week, starting on Mondays, starting on February 1st. We'll be sending out a note to all of the merchants shortly with a list of items that the county can offer free resources on, and ask them to come in, set up appointments. So it's everything from succession planning and hiring, health benefits, finance, all kinds of things, even some branding things. So, and that'll all be free services that will be available to our merchants on an appointment basis, and we'll be hosting those here at the studio. And Rochester, because I raised my hand and started throwing out these ideas, has been made the pilot city for this program. So hopefully it works, and then they're going to roll it out countywide. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, I don't have anything else except to remind when we get to miscellaneous, I do have that Penny Black outdoor seating grant application that I had sent to everybody.
Yep, got it. Events and marketing.
Snow Glow went very well. I mean, it wasn't fire and ice, but we can't really have 50,000 people events these days. But we did get a lot of positive feedback from people. People were excited that we're able to do something. The ice looked really pretty with the Christmas lights. It was a nice in-between for a lot of people. And it definitely, I saw some people walking around with bags, and it was just nice to see town alive and bustling appropriately and social distancing. So that was great. And then, like I said, we're already starting to look toward some things for spring, some interim promotions in February, March, once the restaurants get back open next month. And we're already starting work on the In Town magazine we'll be shooting at the beginning of March.
Got it. Any questions for the director on either her update or the events and marketing update?
No, just a comment that I was really excited to see how many people made it down to 2nd Street because of Bakehouse and Tooraloo. Typically you don't see the crowd go all the way to 2nd Street and come back. So that was really fun to see.
Mm-hmm. We had a lot of, even in the West 100 block, Kumon and the new Laser Center, they both bought ice sculptures. So that helped draw people down that way. Bakehouse bought one, and then we didn't have as many as usual, just because it is what it is. So the PSD sponsored a few extra sculptures to kind of pull people down that way, and I think it was effective.
Awesome. Well done as usual. Anybody else? Seeing none, the financial report for the DDA is in the packet. Does anybody have any questions with respect to the financials for this month? Seeing none, biz dev. Paul, you're muted.
Yeah, biz dev, we had a meeting this morning, which I unfortunately wasn't at, but I know we went through the program you were just talking about, Christy, and that's great. And we also went through I'm looking forward to the Oakland County mentors, I'll call them, okay? And we also went through next opening and closing. Oh, Nick went through the opening and closing, so we pretty much handled everything that we were going to handle on biz dev.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you for that update. Appreciate it. Site development.
Not really a lot going on this time of year. We have to watch our money to see what happens in the next few months here. So kind of a slow time.
Yeah, understood. And then closing your eyes really tight and seeing nothing, knowing what we get to spend next year is also, that one hurts. Thank you for that short and sweet update, I think. It's good. Miscellaneous, Christy, go ahead with that one you were just talking about.
So, of course, right after I sent the packet out, Saturday, I received a grant application from Penny Black for their outdoor fire pit tables, which I'm sure many people, if anybody has driven by Penny Black, you have seen those. They've been wildly successful for them. So they went ahead and submitted for an outdoor seating mini grant. Already submitted all of their receipts, which in diagram and everything, which was included in that addendum that I sent to everybody on Monday. And they would be eligible, if the board would consider it, for the maximum grant amount of $3,000 since their total spend was over $9,000.
Fantastic. Board, any discussion on the matter? Or a motion in our future to approve it?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion by Haig. Is there support for the motion?
I'll second it.
Support by Bloomingdale. Discussion on the motion. Seeing none, Madam Recording Secretary, the roll.
Eric Diana,
Aye.
Bob Bloomingdale,
Yes.
Paul Haig,
Yes.
Tanya Karsten,
Yes.
Tony LaPuma,
Yes.
Chairman Giovanelli.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. Anything else miscellaneous? No? Okay. On mine, so at 6:30 we had a meeting scheduled, which is our annual required under state law, separately scheduled and notice meeting to talk about what the DDA did for the prior year. We did not have quorum, so for various reasons, which is fine. So my suggestion would be to reschedule it for the February meeting, so next month's meeting, and tack it on at the end. So that way we don't forget, and it's already there, and everybody's already captive. So if there's any thoughts about not doing that or having alternative ideas, I'm all ears, but that's kind of at least where I'm at right now. Anybody? Good?
Christy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You would just advertise it as to immediately follow the regular meeting, since you can't really put a time on it.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, super. Anybody else have any other miscellaneous or parting words of wisdom? Okay, seeing none. It is 7:56. You have donated 1 hour of your life to the City of Rochester Downtown Development Authority. We appreciate it immensely. So thanks a ton, guys. And we will circle up next week. We'll make sure we get out that email on the development this week. So you guys will have that. And if there's any questions, feel free to reach out to Christy or myself or Nick. I mean, Nick would be the main clearinghouse because he's involved in all of these, but the two of us are also happy to jump in as needed. So thanks a ton, guys. Have a great night.
All right, take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Yep, see you. Yep, see you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.